Hello, everyone. My name's Neil. If you've seen me here before, you probably know that I have liver cirrhosis. There's no cure for the disease. Something I kind of deal with. Today's video is going to be a little bit about how I deal with the stress and how I cope with just dealing with the day to day, knowing what I have, and just going through it all. I tend to get a lot of comments where people say that I have such a good attitude and everything, but I got to tell you, it's not always true. Maybe it looks like I'm always positive about it on here, but I have hard times too. I go through it just like everyone else. Uh, for me, it all started close to 2 years ago. I noticed that I was losing my muscle mass. I didn't really notice it. I didn't pay attention to it really. But my muscle mass started going down, and I was always a pretty muscular guy. I've been in the car business all my life and lifting heavy parts and things like that. And things started becoming a little more difficult. I noticed that my muscles were getting tired quicker, and so on and so forth. And then as time progressed, my stomach had gotten large and my face had become thin, and I had started losing all that muscle mass, and I started getting a yellow hue to me. This was about 2 years ago. I happened to see someone I hadn't seen in 6 months to a year or so, and they said, "What's with the skinny face and the big belly?" And that was the first time that it really kind of struck me that something was going on, because somebody else noticed it. And then I was at a gas station and someone said my eyes were yellow, and I'm like, okay. And I noticed that too, but I was kind of, iffy about doctors, and I was drinking at the time. I'd gone through a divorce and some situations in my life, and I started drinking for about 2 years. I did only drink about 2 to 2.5 years, so it wasn't even that long. Before that, I hadn't even picked up even a beer in close to 13 or 14 years before that. We just didn't drink. And then going through that, I turned to a different group of friends and started drinking a lot heavier than I should have. I was drinking hard liquor, going through about a pint a night or so. And I remember there were two spaces of about 4 to 6 months in a row where I didn't drink at all, during those two to 2.5 years. So it just seems strange that these things were going on. I mean, I had a feeling that had something to do with the liver, because and I thought it was just because I was a drinker, and if I stopped drinking, this stuff would all go away, because I had read that the liver can heal itself. And so I started taking these breaks and nothing had changed. Well, eventually it turned into this. I thought I had some kind of bronchial infection or something, because I was having a really hard time breathing. I couldn't walk from my living room to my bathroom without being completely out of breath and having to stop to gasp to get my breath back in. And eventually it just kept going. This went on for about 2 weeks. Finally, I went into the hospital, and doctor looked at me and said, "You're in liver failure." And I'm like, holy smokes. So they just, asked me if I was drinking. And I said, yeah. And they saddled me with alcohol-induced liver cirrhosis at the time. And I didn't really argue it. Didn't really, think much of it. I just wanted to get better. And it was very confusing. They gave me this stuff called lactulose, which is a laxative. They didn't really explain it much to me. They gave me this huge pill, Xifaxan, that was supposed to help protect my brain from the ammonias that get escaped through the liver that aren't processing. They gave me that, and they gave me some diuretics, some water pills to take, and told me I need to consume a bunch of protein every day, and sent me on my way. This was after I spent about 10 weeks in the hospital, and they pulled 5.5 liters of fluid off my stomach and 3.5 off my right lung. my right lung was completely collapsed. It wasn't getting any air whatsoever at the time. Um, so I went home. Shortly after, I wound up throwing up blood, and I went back and started getting varices binded, and altogether I've had 9 of those binded. The right lung kept filling up with fluid over and over again. So eventually I just kept getting hospitalized because the fluids kept coming back as gram positive with staph infections. So I kept winding up being on IV antibiotics. And at one point, they had a meeting about doing a liver transplant, and I was turned down because I didn't have any support system where I was at the time. And wound up moving and changing a few things. And I started, and I also, they put a chest tube in at one point. So I was in the hospital for an entire month with the chest tube in. That was at my worst. They'd given me about 90 days to live at that point in time. And they turned me down for the liver transplant, and so I made the decision to move, and I started really paying attention to my diet. Eventually, the fluid stopped building up in my lung, thank God. What stopped it or why it particularly did, I'm not sure, but eventually it stopped. So then I changed my diet, switched to a high-protein diet. I didn't eat out anymore. No McDonald's, no fast food, nothing like that. And this just continues, and then I would have bouts, with the ammonia's jumping up, and getting some hepatic encephalopathy, which is confusion and change of personality, and make you do things you wouldn't normally do if that's the ammonia affecting your brain. At one time I jumped over 300 on the ammonia. And you shouldn't have more than 30. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure the exact measuring that they use for that, but the number is 30 is what you're supposed to have, or less. And I was at 300. So they hospitalized me. And anyway, so it's been a journey. And for the most part, I stayed positive through all this. There was some difficult times, obviously. I always felt that I just assumed that I drank for 2 years, so I caused this to myself. This was all my fault. So I shouldn't be angry or mad about it. I just need to deal with it and do whatever I need to do to get better and change my life. And so I did. And I also found that staying positive is huge because it's really easy to sink into the negatives and your future and having this disease and not being able to do the things you used to be able to do, and financial struggles and things like that. And so it is difficult, and there's an old adage that says fake it till you make it, and sometimes you do have to fake being positive until you are. So I try. I have regrets and things that, I deal with on a day-to-day. So my normal day-to-day stress stuff that we all go through. And then I got this, on the other side of it is this disease that limits what I'm able to do, because I do have 3 hernias as well. That's from the stomach pushing out and the muscles getting weak, and they can't do any surgery on the hernias, so I have to live with those and use a binder. And that makes things difficult too, to be able to go out and do things, and nothing like your guts popping out, so, but you deal with it, and you just kind of go, this is what I have to deal with, so I'm going to work with it. So it's kind of like playing a game of poker, you work with the cards you're dealt. And so that's what I did, and I've stuck to that. I've done the best I possibly can with it. It is difficult. I'm on disability, but disability doesn't necessarily pay all the bills. I did try going back to work, and I kept winding up in the hospital. My legs were swelling up really, really bad from it and stuff. So then I started having difficulty driving. The ammonia was affecting my brain, and it was causing me, I would get really, really tired to drive. So I had to make a decision to stop the driving, because work was a half an hour away and it was all highway driving. So I had to make that decision. So there's been some difficult decisions, and I've always been a very independent person. And now, I'm not so independent anymore, and I've got to deal with that. So it's just a battle, I mean, you take each battle and each day, and you do your best with it, and you continue on. Today may suck, but tomorrow could be better, could be worse. But what if it's better? That's the way I truly look at it. And so, I will take the good with the bad. When you're dealing with a disease like this, you don't really know what's going to happen. You don't know if, today I might be doing okay. Tomorrow I could be in a coma. I mean, because it could switch at any given time. The liver's already bad, so it's kind of limping by, and you're doing everything you should and you can do, but there's no cure for it. There's nothing you can do to stop it, just the medicines to avoid the ammonia in the brain. That's about it. So you got to kind of really watch your symptoms and how you feel and things like that, and be aware that, hey, something's going on, so I guess I better go get it checked out. And a lot of times when you go into a hospital, they kind of don't know what to do with you. Because the liver is so complex, and there's really nothing that can be done. And my closest specialist doctor is 5 hours away. There's nothing close by. So, I see them a couple times a year. In fact, I got to go in April for a biopsy. They're going to pull a piece of the liver out because through the testing, they found that I had the mutated gene for the iron issue, the H63D, I think it's called. I could be wrong. But it's a mutated gene. It's found in European descent, and that can cause iron overload in your body your whole life, and that can affect the liver and destroy the liver. And so they did find that, but they want to take a piece of the liver and they want to study it. Find how deep it goes and 100% and what's going on. In reality, I am gracious that I'm sitting here today talking to you, and that I have this opportunity to pass this along and, try to help other people going through with this, because, I could not be alive today. I was close. I really was. And still, I teeter on the edge where things could turn for the worse tomorrow, and I have no idea. It's scary for sure, but I just figure I live with it the best I can, and I'm prepared for whatever may or may not happen. And you gotta know that, and accept it for what it is, really. And just do everything you possibly can to get yourself on the right road. Do I know if I'm going to make a recovery? I have no idea. None. A lot of people may look at me and go, you look fine right now. To be honest, today, I'd already thrown up ones. I feel pretty weak. You wouldn't know it by me talking to you in this video, but today's not the best day, and last week wasn't either. But it happens, and then you find a good day and you take it and you run with it. A few days before that week not feeling good, I got a chance to go check out a cave and, get out with some friends and do some stuff. And that was a great day. So I'm going to take the good with the bad. If I have a good day, I'm going to run with it, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can with it. And I truly believe that's the key. It's, all the things that go through your mind at night it's difficult. Sometimes it's hard to sleep because you've got your mind going a mile a minute, with all these different things, and how you're going to pay this bill, and now you got, where you're going from this situation to that situation, and now you're giving up this, you're giving up that, or, you know, because you don't know. And it's hard. It's definitely not an easy situation. So my heart goes out to anybody who's dealing with anything like this. All I can say is keep fighting, stay positive, keep going, look for the light at the end of the tunnel, find something you enjoy doing and do it. You know, I mean, that's all I can really say. You know, just there are things out there that are inexpensive that you could find that, you know, can help you get through and help you enjoy yourself. So, but anyway, I do thank you for watching this video. There is a GoFundMe linked in my bio and also on the description for this video. If anyone wants to help, you don't have to. That's not why I make these videos. But I do want to thank everybody who has donated to it. It's been extreme help. I mean, I remember not too long ago, somebody had donated $10 and it was close to, I was at the end near my disability payment. I was still like 4 or 5 days out and I needed some milk and some bread, and there was the $10 that was donated. So it was a huge blessing. So I want to thank everybody who has been so gracious in helping, and I want to thank everybody for following and liking my videos. I wasn't expecting to hit 1,000, and thank you so much for all your help. Everybody who follows me, you're all amazing people, and the support and the comments are just amazing. And I'm going to try to get on some of those comments and start responding to a few of those, because I was sick last week. I didn't get a chance to respond to any comments really. So if I missed your comment, I will be going back and checking those. So I will get to them. So, all right. Well, everyone have a wonderful, beautiful, and blessed day. And take care of yourselves. Stay positive.